Turn off the lights.
Hey everyone, Random Randy here. This is going to be Vlogentines Vlebruary day 4, I believe. It is super late right now. It is about 9 o'clock. The kids are finally in bed and asleep. And I am getting ready to make a giant batch of strawberry jam without any added packaged pectin. So I thought I would bring you guys along for that so you can see the recipe that I use. And maybe it can help you save some produce that's about to go bad like mine. Because if you've ever shopped at a commissary, their produce is usually pretty lacking. At least here I've noticed that the produce is usually only good for maybe 2-3 days tops before it's completely unusable. And I got 4 pounds of strawberries for less than $5, which I really couldn't pass up. And we've only eaten about a pound, so I've got 3 pounds of strawberries that I quartered through 3 cups of sugar on and zested and used the juice of 1 fresh lemon, which is about a 1/4 cup of lemon juice. So 3 pounds of strawberries, 3 cups of sugar, 1/4 cup of lemon juice, and the zest from that lemon. If you can manage the zest, I like the extra brightness that it gives to it. I'm a jam snob now that I make it myself, I guess. I'm just now turning up the heat, and I'm going to stir it pretty constantly and let it cook at about a medium to high rolling boil for about 20 minutes, and then I'm going to test it. It's strawberries, and strawberries are the worst to get to gel, so it might have to go a little bit longer. And as you can see, just from sitting and macerating in the sugar for about half an hour, some of these strawberries are already pretty mushy. That's why sugar is bad for you. It can completely dissolve the flesh of a strawberry if given enough time to do so. And I'm actually going to cheat. I'm going to hit it with the immersion blender to make sure the strawberries are chopped up fine enough, because some of these strawberries, which is actually the secret to getting strawberry jam to jam, you want to have some of your strawberries still with white or not completely ripe tops to get your strawberries to actually gel, because unripe fruit has more pectin in it than overripe fruit. But you also want a good mixture of very ripe fruit for the sweetness. And I'm going to get the immersion blender so that I can make sure that's all going to go where I want it to. Now, for safety reasons, the best time to do this is before it gets too hot, otherwise you're going to have molten strawberry juice flying everywhere. So once it starts to actually boil, you want to make sure you're stirring it quite a bit because you don't want it to stick to the bottom. You also don't want it to boil over. If you've still got some chunks, that's okay, because they will shrink significantly, and I actually like my jam to be more like preserves and have a little bit of texture to it. I don't like it completely smooth, which is where my husband and I differ. And once your soon-to-be strawberry jam gets to a rolling boil, which means it's a boil that you cannot get to completely stir down, you're going to want to do two things. I am actually canning my jam. So from the rolling boil point, you're going to be giving it about 20 minutes to cook. And during that time, once I reach about the halfway mark, once it's been about 10 minutes, I turn on the burner for the pan that has my hot water bath for all of my canning jars in it, because that needs to boil for about 10 minutes, and then I'll put those over onto the towel to pour the jam into them. And once they are all full, they will go back into the hot water bath with the lids attached, and they'll cook for another 10 minutes, which will completely seal them. I wish I had better lighting in here right now so you could see how wonderfully pink this is. However, it is quite late, the kids are asleep, and all I have is the tiny overhead light above the stove and the light from the pantry. The other thing that I'll do at about the halfway point is take a small ceramic plate, or just any regular dinner plate that's not plastic, and put it in the freezer. That's how you're going to check if your jam is done, is by putting a small drop of it onto the cold plate and checking to see how it reacts. we're at about the halfway point now, judging from how it's just starting to thicken up a little bit. So I'm going to put that plate in the freezer and get the water going for the canning jars. And it has been about 20 minutes now, so I'm going to take a teeny bit on a spoon and put it on my plate from the freezer. You let it sit for a few seconds, and then you tip it. If it runs down the plate, it's not quite done yet, but if you touch it and it's firm and springs back, it's good to go. Not quite there yet, a few more minutes. We'll give it 5 more minutes. That should be good enough. With the current rate of boil down. Alright, it has been another 5 minutes, so I'm going to get the plate and check it again. And I have taken my jars out of the hot water bath and the lids are now in it. And that is just about perfect. So I'm going to turn off the heat. Move this off the heat so it doesn't bake anything to the bottom. And I always put a kettle on a hot burner so nobody touches it on accident, and because it puts some moisture in the air, which is always good when it is winter time. And now I have gotten the mouths of all of the jars wiped off, and I'm going to get the funnel. Get my funnel. The reason that you want to have hot jars with hot jam is because if you put hot jam into a cold jar, you get exploding broken glass everywhere, and that's no fun for anybody involved. I have also scraped the foam off of the top of the jam from the pan, and I'm going to use a soup ladle to pour it into the jars. And the reason that I have a towel under everything is, well, two reasons really. Primary reason is no matter how neat you are, you're probably going to dribble some of this jam all over the place, and you don't want to have to clean that up, so it's better to have it on a towel. Second reason is just in case any of your jars do break, it would be much better to have them break on a surface that would be easier to pick up. Again, exploding jelly. So just shy of 7 jars worth of jam. That's not bad. And now just to make sure that there's nothing potentially blocking the seal on any of the jars, and to keep out bacteria, I'm gonna wipe the tops. Smells so good. Wish you guys could smell this. So there's that. Now I'm going to use this nifty little magnetic tool to pick up the lids out of the boiling water without burning myself. Now for the fun part that usually involves some swearing. Let's see if I can do this without burning myself. When you put your rings on, you want them to be finger tight, meaning you don't want to cinch them down as hard as physically possible. You just want it to be tightened enough. And you put it back into your hot water bath. Now this one that ended up not completely full will probably be the first one we use, just because that much air in a canned jar usually means it's not going to keep as long. And once your closed jars of jam have sat in the hot water bath for 10 minutes, you can turn off the heat and take them out. So there you have it. 7 jars of homemade strawberry jam without any added pectin. 7 jars of jam that would have been 3 pounds of strawberries that, had they not gotten used in the next day or two, would have gone in the trash. So definitely a much better use for it. And when the jars cool tomorrow, I will be putting labels on them in the morning. I have these dissolvable labels that only need to be in water for about 30 seconds, and they just come right off the jar, which makes washing the jars so much easier. And all of my tools that I use to move everything are in this set. It's just a 6-piece set, and we have had this set of canning tools for going on 5 years, pretty much. Shortly after we moved to Maryland, I started canning things. So yeah, about 5 years. And even though it's mostly plastic, it's all still in really good shape, so you can't beat that. And the funnel that I used works with wide mouth jars as well as these normal ones, which is pretty cool. So I am looking forward to tomorrow morning because we're gonna get to have some awesome homemade strawberry jam with breakfast. The kids are gonna be super stoked. Strawberry everything pretty much is Hunter's favorite, as you might have been able to tell from the strawberry birthday cake. So yeah, I hope that this was helpful for anybody looking to maybe dabble in canning. It's really not as difficult and complicated as it sounds. It's really just a matter of having everything hot enough, making sure everything is clean before you put it in, and processing things in such a way that they're gonna keep. I mean, worst case scenario, say if some of these jars don't seal properly, we'll just put them in the fridge and eat them within the next couple of weeks and it'll be fine. The jam made this way is supposed to keep for about 6 months in a cool, dry place, so you could keep it in your pantry or your cellar or whatever and it'd be fine. I, however, have used jam made this way up to a year after we've made it, and nobody in our house has ever gotten sick from eating it. So as long as you do your canning procedures properly, and there are tons of places to research those, you should be totally fine. Give it a try. It's a good way to save food that you might have to throw away otherwise. So thank you so much for watching, everybody, and I hope you have an awesome Sunday or whatever day it is when you're watching this, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye.